This pedal that I'm about to show you is the most analog feeling digital pedal that I've come across. Maybe analog isn't quite the right word, because really this is emulating a old vintage digital unit. This is the Vongon Ultrasheer, a pedal that is going for the reverb sound of a Lexicon 224, which is a very famous 70s digital unit that was used on loads of studio stuff back then. I believe it's a plate type reverb, and we have some very simple controls that get us there. On the left hand side as well, we also have a digital vibrato, pitch vibrato. So this pedal isn't cheap either. I actually got this in a trade with an amp actually, so that might give you an indication of the sort of price point these are. I believe they might be between $400 and $500 or pounds. So an expensive pedal, and also expensive, I thought, because realistically it does one thing. In my mind, expensive digital pedals at least should have presets, should have lots of different modes. Clearly it's really well built. It's in this beautiful solid piece of walnut, and it has a really nice aesthetic, a proper vintage studio aesthetic that is really cool. Literally top mounted jacks. The jacks go into the top of the pedal. It almost feels weird calling it a pedal. It's a unit. It's a studio piece of gear. Before we get into this, please like and subscribe. Leave me a comment. I'd really appreciate it if you give me a sub. I will also say at this point that Vongon is a company that I know next to nothing about. When the guy who I did the trade with offered me this in exchange with the amp, I was like, oh, never heard of that pedal. Might be my only opportunity to own this pedal, because due to the price point and the relatively small feature list, I suppose, of the pedal, it's not a pedal that I would spend that sort of money on. So I thought, why not? Let's go for it. And you know what? I'm glad I did. So as always, this is my clean sound. Trying out this guitar half step down. Apparently that's how Strats are supposed to be anyway, and just from that quick little thing, that sounded great. Okay, so let's start with the reverb side. Let's just try everything at 12 o'clock to start with, and we'll tweak things from there. Should we just end the demo there? I mean, that's an incredible reverb sound. It makes you play in like quite an emotive way. It really gets you in the feels. We're in mono at the moment. It is fully stereo as well. I'm a mono guitar guy, so that's the way we're going to play it. One of the things that has fascinated me about this pedal and when I've been learning about it is that the audio processing, the digital processing, is actually downsampled. Correct me if I'm wrong on this terminology, but it's downsampled to 16 bits. Sort of the combination of the old school digital processing, but with new components, new hardware, new ways of making it happen, gets this amazing mix of new and old, and it just sounds so classic, so vibey. Turn these cameras off now and we'd all go home happy. But let's tweak things a little more. I like my reverbs a bit darker, so let's turn down this brightness. Let's also turn up the decay. Let's see how wild this thing can get. Again, awesomeness, no complaints. You know, a lot of ambient reverbs these days have all these fancy tricks and just, you know, octaving this, octaving that, modulated this. This is just a great sounding reverb that can get as big or as small as you like. Let's try and get a smaller sounding reverb. Let's try and get closer to a room type. Let's bring that decay down, brightness up, mix down a little bit as well. Very cool. I mean, it sounds great, but part of me thinks that nobody buys a reverb pedal this expensive just to have a small reverb sound. So let's turn things up a little bit, and we'll also switch over to the vibrato side of things. So how I have the vibrato set currently is how I would probably set my VB2. Just a little bit of seasickness, which I really like from my VB2, but I'll leave it off and then I'll turn it on, and you'll see what I mean by how it is very transparent sounding. It's not taking or giving you any extra darkness, which my analog VB2 does. So. I love that sort of vibrato. I think I do prefer sort of a darker, more analog sound for that sort of tone, but that's a great sounding vibrato either way. I've heard that this setting can get kind of Leslie-ish, so let's see if we can get there. So we can also switch the order of the two effects, so reverb into vibrato or vibrato into reverb. I think this is currently on reverb into the vibrato, so you can hear that the vibrato is affecting those reverb trails. Yeah, you hear that? Let's see if we flick it over. So vibrato into reverb, that shouldn't happen so much. Yeah, so you get the picture. For me, where the vibrato side really shines is on that random mode. So this is like a sample and hold, as I said, as the word suggests really, it's random. This is not how I would have it set, but just to compare to the earlier tone. So it just sort of adds a little bit of uneasiness to your tone. It's like a warped vinyl. That's, as I said, that's what it's going for, and I dig it. This is where the vibrato sound side shines for me. Let's combine it with that reverb side. I've also, with this sample and hold random vibrato, I do prefer reverb into vibrato, so we're going to go back to that. It's awesome. It's one of those pedals that is just a special piece of gear. Is it for everyone? No. And I think that's because of the price point. It's the sort of pedal that you buy if you've, as bad as this sounds, maybe if you've run out of other things to buy, you've got your favourite drives, you've got your favourite delays, maybe if you've even got your favourite reverbs and you just want something a little special to either keep on the desk, put on a board, and just get some more luscious reverb tones that take you back to some of those early 70s sounds. The Vongon Ultrasheer is magic, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next one.